You're tuned in to Floridian Rollo. I'm your host, Floridian Rollo, and I am coming at you with another live stream. As you enter into the chat, make sure you double tap the like button on your way in. The information is pinned to the top. Should you want to support the stream, if you want to support the live stream, the information is pinned to the top. Also, shout out to everybody that's viewing, the mods, the members, those in the chat room. We have a full show right now. We're going to talk about three different scenarios, three different situations. So I ask you please hit the double tap on the like button. Let's get the lights up. Let's get the lights up. Share the video. I expect more people to get the notification. So without further ado, we're going to listen to an expert on what's going on in these particular places, particular regions. Why is there a mass exodus, particularly from the Northeast corridor, from the Midwest and the West Coast, mainly? That's where you see a majority of people leaving. Now, in this particular case, he's going to talk about New York, particularly New York City, more so. So without further ado, let's listen to what they have to say. Let's go.
New York has lost 2 million people over the last decade. New Jersey has lost. New York has lost 2 million people. New York has lost 2 million people over the last decade. New Jersey has lost almost 500,000 people. You're losing.
So New York lost 2 million people, and New Jersey lost 500,000 people. You got to understand and understand when people leave, that's the taxpayer money that's supposed to be going into that particular place is now going elsewhere. And that loses a bench for a Senate and a representative, House representative. So the more people leave, the less they're going to have, and the people going to have, for the most part. Let's continue.
Your most precious resource in New Jersey and New York. And you know what that precious resource is? Your people, your citizens, your businesses.
He said what I talked about. If the people are leaving, then the businesses, the opportunities for those who are there, is going to have to deal with the pinch of those who are leaving. Let me rewind it back. For those who coming in, make sure you double tap the like button on your way in.
New York has lost 2 million people over the last decade. New Jersey has lost almost 500,000 people. You're losing your most precious resource in New Jersey and New York. And you know what that precious resource is? Your people, your citizens, your businesses.
A new 10-year study from Unleash Prosperity shows residents are leaving New York and New Jersey.
All right, we're going to rewind it back. Billboard slammed New York, New Jersey over resident exodus. New Yorkers aren't moving up, they're moving out. 1.7 million people have fled New York, particularly New York City. Let me rewind it back. You see the billboard? So somebody got upset of the proof in the pudding. Let's go, rewind it back, listen to it. Let's go.
New York has lost 2 million people over the last decade. New Jersey has lost almost 500,000 people. You're losing your most precious resource in New Jersey and New York. And you know what that precious resource is? Your people, your citizens, your businesses.
A new 10-year study from Unleash Prosperity shows residents are leaving New York and New Jersey in droves for red states due to high taxes and high crime. The organization put up billboards in
high taxes and high crime. How do you expect people to do what they need to do if you're going to tax them out? Particularly those with serious money. That's not going to solve the solution. They know that and they don't care. It seems like they're okay of people leaving. Well, that means you're going to lose your seat and opportunity to do right by the people for the people if this continues. Let's go.
Both states to warn residents ahead of Tuesday's elections. For more, let's bring in Rastegar Capital CEO Ari Rastegar. Ari, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So we're looking at elections in New York City and New Jersey. Depending on how those elections go, taxes could potentially go up. Are you expecting more moving trucks to be heading for the great state of Texas, where you work and operate, and also Florida?
Absolutely. And
I'm going to say this. There are going to be more moving to Texas than Florida, because when you come to Florida, listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. Everything's mostly stretched out. There's not too much convenience here in the South. Conveniency is far stretched. A lot of people get really shocked, come down here, especially to the deep South. It's stretched out in Texas. It's stretched out in Florida. So if you plan on moving down here, know that everything ain't open 24/7 like it is in New York City and most of the tri-state corridor in the Northeast. Things close early down here. Things open up a little bit later on during the summer and late spring. During the winter and quote unquote parts of spring, it is not open late. There's not too many places open late. Even if you want to go out and have a good time in the nighttime while it's chilly, cool, or a little bit warm, things are closed early. So if you're into that type of time where you want to go to a particular place to have a good time 24/7, this is not the state for it. If you go to Miami, that's different. Outside of Miami, you're not going to really see too much things open around the clock, okay? For the most part. And even in Miami, the things are, not everything's open. It depends on what part of Miami you go to. Let me say that. With that said, people are still leaving because of high crime and high taxes. And it's hard to live in a place that you love and care about when you are not taking care of the people financially. This is the problem with the Northeast, the Midwest, and the West Coast don't get. They got good schools for the most part, sure. Healthcare is a little bit better, sure. That's not going to stop people from leaving when they're going to be taxed out, even those that's making serious money. And so he's telling you the warning, what's going to happen.
I think that these red states are just getting redder too, is the real point, because people are really fed up. And if you look at the highest exodus of the highest states, it's always tax related. And then it starts dwindling.
It's always tax related. He is correct about that. It's always tax related. Let's go.
Into crime, because if people aren't comfortable where they live, they're not going to want to be there. And now states like Texas, Tennessee, Florida, they're creating an environment where people actually want to live, they can work, and actually keep the money that they're earning.
Yeah.
Actually keep the money that they're earning. That's a fact. If they're moving correctly, then that's a fact. So Texas, Tennessee, and Florida is seeing an uptick, is what he's saying. Business-wise, especially people business-wise. Let's continue.
Full disclosure, my brothers moved to Florida. My cousin moved to Tennessee, so I feel you. The Texas Stock Exchange.
My cousins moved to Tennessee. My cousins moved to Florida. There you go.
Has been approved to open. What's the impact of that?
I mean, this is a plate tectonic shift. I mean, I think this represents the decentralization of the markets out of New York into Texas. And now with
and there's a lot of things happening in Texas where there's a potential of the Wall Street will be moving to Dallas, Texas. And I've been to Dallas, and I could tell you Dallas is the #1 city in Texas. Dallas is the #1 city in Texas, hands down. It is booming over there. I'm not going to lie. It's dry weather. I'm not with the dry weather. However, I went to Dallas and it's booming. It is definitely booming. And I would not be surprised if Wall Street moved to Dallas, Texas. There's a lot of movers and shakers in Dallas, Texas. There's no doubt about it. Let's continue.
people as fed up as they are moving into Texas, this whole purple phenomenon that people think is just not true. So now the big money is starting to move into Texas and get comfortable. And I think if you keep raising taxes in New York, Wall Street itself might find a new home in Dallas, Texas.
So do you think the big banks will have bigger presences in places like Dallas?
There's no question. I mean, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley have had huge presences in Dallas for, 40, 50 years. This is just, an expansion of what's already there. And this exit.
You have a lot of banks are closing branches in the Northeast, somewhat the Midwest and the West Coast. Branches are literally closing. I remember when I was in New York City, in certain part of Brooklyn I stayed at, a few branches closed. A few branches that was around a long time, no longer there. And those people had to find somewhere else to work. And they've been there most of their life. They must have got a buyout and probably moved to the South or probably moved to their Pacific country they came from. Who knows? All I know is that a lot of branches are closing. And when you got branches closing, that's not a good thing if you are out there in particular places, especially New York City. New York City is going to get hit the hardest. I told y'all this. New York City is going to get hit the hardest. California, depending on where you're at in California, is getting hit the hardest. Chicago, parts of Detroit, of the Midwest and Ohio, the list goes on. Indiana, even though it's a red state, it still having issues because it's in the North, then Midwest region, the Northeast region, and the list goes on. It's a lot of complication issues up there. A lot of complication issues up there. And people are fed up being lied to, not making opportunities better for their family, especially if you got a wife and kids. You got to think about them. It's not about you being selfish. It's one thing you're to yourself or you're with someone, it could work out. And even that, you got to consider the outcome. You can't be naive to what's going on because there's a lot of sin in these places and people are tired of the sin. People are literally tired of these entities and deities, these warlocks, these witches. We're going to get to the destiny swap situation. It's getting crazy out here. Listen, I don't know why you're not liking the video if you're watching the video. Why you're not double tapping on the screen? Or if you're on your computer, like the video. What's going on here? I mean, you folks be watching and don't even like the video. Let's go.
Exodus, we try to talk about it as being this COVID factor, but if you look at the 10-year studies, this has been going on for much longer. COVID just really threw, jet fuel on the entire process.
You're in a range of businesses, one of them being real estate. Let's put the mortgage numbers up on the screen. 6.17% for 30-year fixed rate, 5.41% for a 15-year fixed rate. Do potential buyers jump in or do they wait for spring to see if they go lower?
This is a tragedy. The housing market is what finances the American dream, and I heed the plea of the president.
There's enough homes for people to move into. The thing is, it's a lot that comes with it, and most people are not situated to get property right now for various reasons. And so there's a lot of homes available to the people. There's a lot of homes in the South or wherever you at in the world is available to the people. The thing is, it's run by the banks and certain people, and you not connected with those people, more likely you may not ever get those places. It's crazy out here. Things are revving up right now. Let's continue.
And Mr. Powell, tear down this rate. I mean, enough is enough. When you look at the circulatory way that home building in general runs our economy, our plumbers, our electricians, our roofers, this creates the real job. So it's not.
And there's a lot of men that once did those type of field of work are leaving because they've been disrespected and don't get the earning potential they deserve. Those people, without question, should get a high earning potential, because they're doing the work that most people don't want to do and don't want to put in. Let's continue.
Not just that young homeowners aren't able to fulfill their dream, it's all the other ancillary workers that aren't able to really have the jobs that they're supposed to have. And when you have this fourth industrial revolution, this great growth, a great statistic that I love is back in the 1900s, 40% of the workforce in the United States was in agriculture. Now it's 2%. Meaning that technology improved. I think that same thing is happening with AI. So it's a good thing, but we need to find a place for our blue-collar workers, for our firefighters, for our police officers to be able to work, prosper, and be able to finance that part of the American dream.
On housing, is Texas building enough for the New Yorkers and New Jerseyans who may be on the way starting Wednesday?
The short answer
That's hilarious. He's throwing that in there. He's like, it's the New Yorkers and New Jersey's going to have places to move into Texas right away. It's going to take time. It's going to take time for that to happen. If it does go down, let's go.
answer is no. You know, in the United States is about 5 million houses short, which is a astonishing number.
Sure.
Texas alone is at least 500,000 houses short, and this is a function of what the people at the Fed that are making decisions that, quite frankly, I don't know if they're based in mathematics, certainly not, or based in some kind of political agenda, but these rates need to come down so that we can actually build these houses and have a home for all these people that are moving.
15 seconds. Are you bullish on the economy?
I think the stock market keeps going up, but until we fix these rates and until housing, the foundational piece of this country, is intact, we're going to continue to have stress.
Ari, thank you.
I with him on that. If things don't get situated as soon as possible, you're going to start seeing a reaction that they did not see coming. All right. So let's go into talking. So that's pretty much about that when it comes to the blue city exodus. There's a lot of people leaving for the high crime, money reasons, and opportunities are a little bit more available, and your money goes a little bit more further, or a lot more further if you're doing it correctly, than it went in these particular places that most of us come from. All right. We're going to get into the destiny swap situation. Let's talk about it. A lot of you, we are in the month of November. We're going into the closeout of quote unquote 2025. You're going to have to close out people. They're going to try to come back in. Don't let them back in. Once they remove themselves out of the situation, or you saw something that made you make that decision to get them out of that situation so you could start getting into what you're supposed to get into, because the main destiny swap is for them to be in your way of your destiny. For them to be in your way of your destiny. And they will say things that you know they're trying to swap. They're trying to take what belongs to you and have you going in circles. We call it the circling destiny swappers. They circle back around and try to get in. And if you let them in, you're doing yourself a disservice. A lot of you have been doing a disservice to yourself. You're wondering why certain things are not moving, certain things are not happening, because you have people around you or situations around you you're not supposed to be involved in no more. There's a time and a place, it's a season. And so what these destiny swappers do is try to keep you trapped and not grow, and spread your wings and learn about who you are as a man, as a woman. And when you have children, how the children adapt to you as a parent, the mother and the father and the mother, how they see how y'all coexist with each other, making things happen. So let's get to a video. Let's get to it right now. All right. Give me a second. All right, let's get this. The Myth of Illusions channel up. Let's get that ready. All right. All right, without further ado, Let's get right to it.
Hello guys, and welcome back on today's video. And with today's content lined up, we're just going to be concluding our third and final video on destiny swapping. And without wasting any time, let's get stuck in. The concept of destiny swapping, or themes closely related to it, has permeated popular culture, appearing in various forms of literature, film, and folklore. These narratives often explore the profound implications of altered fates, exchanged identities, and the struggle for self-determination. Now, some of the examples from media and folklore.
The main thing about that is that depression, when you are depressed, you're depressing yourself from opportunities. That's because you have given them all the information. And what they could do with that information is make you depressed and have anxiety. So this is why you got to be mindful of what you share with these people, because they could use it against you and have you looking like you don't know what's going on and have you depressed, because that's really what they want to happen. That's really what they want to see happen to you. They really want to see that happen to you. Depressed. You can't think clearly. You're all over the place. That's how they be able to take and take and take what belongs to you and have you become, therefore, stench. And you're wondering why you're not getting the things you're supposed to get. That's because you gave them too much of your time and energy and also information that they could use against you. And have everybody turning back on you, supporting, the list goes on. Because the more you allow them around, the less support you get, the more opportunities you get. Because you're allowing them to take your opportunities. Let's go.
In TV shows and movies, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets features body swap elements through the use of polyjuice potion, allowing characters to take on forms of others. In Family Switch is a Christmas comedy where an entire family swaps places, navigating each other's lives. And The Possessor explores a more sinister take, with an assassin controlling the bodies of others. And lastly, Surrogates presents a unique sci-fi body swap concept where people inhabit robotic versions of themselves. Folklore often contains elements related to destiny swapping or its prevention. A Dominican grandmother's warning against allowing another woman into one's bedroom to prevent marriage destiny swapping and infidelity.
And they also try to get your partner to go against you so that they could be with your partner and try to take your partner essence, opportunities. This is why you got to be mindful of what you gravitate to and what you're dealing with, because it can and be used against you in due season. So my take on this is that it makes people depressed. It makes people question themselves. That's what they want you to do. They want you to question yourself. They want you to look like you ain't got no sense and up to what's going on. They want you to be clear out from your opportunity. That's the main thing. They want you clearing out from your opportunity, because then the light will expose who they are. Let's continue.
Is a notable example. General caution about allowing people into personal space or touching one's belongings is also common. The belief that copying someone's behavior or not telling others about one's plan can lead to destiny theft. Superstitions like not entering a house without knocking, or the splitting of the pole belief, are also mentioned in context related to spiritual protection and avoiding negative influence on one's path. An antidote recounts a prophecy of a brother going to the NFL, but due to a jealous sister-in-law, her son went instead, illustrating a belief in deliberate destiny manipulation.
Destiny manipulation is very, very serious. It's a very, very serious. A lot of people want to constrict you and not only guilt trip you, they need your tears too. They need you to be teary. You know how you wipe your tears and then they give you a tissue? Be careful because you don't know what they got that tissue from. They could put a little bit sweat on that tissue and you wiping your tears, and your tears could be of joy, opportunities, and they will use it to energize. Do you know that doing Destiny Swap that they collect tears? Do you know that these entities and deities collect tears? So let's say you're tearing and somebody wipe your eyes. They could put it on a hand, do this, close it, hold it, because the tears are part of your essence. Use that water and figure out your future. This is why you got to be mindful of tearing up. Now, things do happen in life. We know that. Yet people, when they see you tear up, they want to get a piece of your tear. That's how they could figure out your future. Look through your tear. Because a tear is like a soul. It's kind of like when you get it in with a woman and you release your semen into her. That means you give yourself to her to have a child. You gave her the whole energy. That's how she keeps being stable. That's the same thing with a tear. And they will use that crying tear and know your future, know your opportunities, make money, and they will freeze your tear up. That's how a lot of people get frozen by the tear froze. You're wondering why you're freezing. Nothing is going for you. Why you stuck. Why you can't move around. Why you constantly repeating the same thing and there's nothing coming out of it. Not even a little something to get to the big stuff. That's because somebody's doing something to you. If you say you're moving correctly, then you got to be mindful of those who are going to try you. Let's go.
While the concept of destiny swapping holds significant weight within various spiritual and metaphysical communities, it faces considerable scrutiny from mainstream scientific and psychological perspectives. Destiny swapping is not recognized as a valid concept in mainstream psychology, or
In order to not get caught up with a destiny swapper, you just have to test the person to see who they are. You have to test the person to see who they are, y'all. So that's pretty much it on that one, on the Destiny Swap Part 3. That's about that, you know what I'm saying? I pretty much gave you some more ounces into it. You got to watch the first one, the recent one, and this one. We're going to do this. We're going to close out with this. Why the black men ain't coming to these functions? These women have something to say to the men that's not coming to the functions. Let me see if I can find it. Because I'm trying to find it right now and I don't see it. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Why I don't see it. I can't find what I'm looking for. That's interesting. The video, I have the video. I'm not crazy. Let me see something. I'm going to let y'all listen to this. It's probably somewhere saved. Let me let y'all listen to this. Let me see if I can find it. This is going on in New York, y'all. Right now, this is going on in New York City. Let me make that clear, New York City. All right, here we go.
Tonight, we launch our new series, Driven into Debt. Across New York, drivers say missed tolls have spiraled into financial nightmares. And behind every bill is a system few understand and even fewer can fight alone. Investigator Masa Saidi looks at how the MTA system works and who's paying the price.
Some of these tolls are $2, $3, and they're charging you $50.
In September, we first looked into the MTA's toll violation fees. This driver, with outdated EasyPass accounts, hit with late fees nearly 5 times the original tolls.
Ooh-wee. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of paper of debt that they try to get to collect from him in New York City. Let's go.
After we contacted the MTA, his fees were cut in half. Then we heard from other drivers facing similar debt.
I'll start with everyone should pay their tolls on time.
But if your payment is late, what should happen? Under the MTA's current system, a few thousand in unpaid tolls can snowball into tens of thousands in debt. To find out why, we went to Chair Jano Lieber.
Everybody should pay their bills. And just like when you don't pay your bills to a credit card company, there are going to be additional fees. But the MTA...
This guy don't care about your situation. They want the money, and how you expect these people to be paying, and the service is not working very well in the MTA. You want people to pay all this service, and surplus is going in your pocket, in your constituents' pocket, and the people still got not a good service in the MTA for the most part. You still have not fixed the situation. Shut down the whole entire MTA for a time being and get things fixed like you used to do. Yeah, I used to shut down at nighttime and accommodate more buses to be out during that time. Can't do it in this day of time because there's not enough bus drivers for the MTA. This is crazy. Let's go.
Yeah, unlike at the credit card company, we have a toll payer advocate. And a lot of people who come to you and complain basically say, I shouldn't have to pay at all.
That's not what they say.
What we're saying is come to the MTA and we'll work something out with you.
The MTA's toll payer advocate will work to reduce fees, but some drivers claim the process is slow and seems secretive.
What are the rules there?
Again, just come to us. We have a pretty successful record of working out payment plans with anybody who wants to settle up.
They made a deal with you.
Made a deal with me.
Then you call and they take it back.
They take it back.
Ian Chichester got this notice from the MTA last year.
Wow. Wow. And you wonder why a lot of people are leaving that city. You wonder why. Let's go.
The tolls, $3,200. The total bill after the MTA's late charges, $35,000. The fees, 10 times the tolls.
The letter came 8/9, called on the 16th. I have 30 days to answer.
After the MTA retracted its first deal, Chichester's monthly payments doubled.
The MTA changed the rule from 80% discount to 50% discount. Why? I don't know. I constantly think about it. Where's that money coming from?
What's more, he wasn't the one who racked up the tolls. It was a family member in a car Chichester helped him buy.
I used to go.
So you had a family member use your vehicle, and then they have the resources to pay the service. That's that destiny swap. That's that destiny swap talk.
From work, pick him up, bring him back.
How tough was that?
Oh, you have no idea how tough that was. So he never paid the toll, never got the easy pass, and they sent me this letter.
So there it is. There's the issue. He never paid the responsibility because he wanted you to stay in poverty. That's that destiny swap. We talked about it yesterday. You got family members wanting to keep you in poverty. You got people out here who want to keep you in poverty. Be mindful of those people. Let's go.
Contacted the MTA and they agreed to honor the original deal, but never explained what caused the sudden discount reversal. After numerous calls and emails for answers, the MTA connected us to Chief Thomas Taffy.
As part of government, we build things, people use these things, and they have to pay to use these things. And when they pay, there are no fees.
So let's talk about the fees.
Online, the MTA says after 60 days, the fee is $50 for each unpaid toll.
Are those one-time fees?
I'd have to say that I don't know about the fee that you're talking about, but in general, once again, if you pay the toll, there will be no fees.
But it's a question of notice and proportionality. So that's why we're hoping to get clarity on how the fees escalate and also the deals that the MTA makes. Some people get no discount, some people get an 80% discount. Are there written rules guiding who gets the deal?
That I'm not aware of.
And while the chief is the authority on enforcement, understandably not necessarily fee structure.
Is there someone we can talk with that can talk about the questions that we had? Can I talk with you about the fees?
The MTA declined to answer our questions, later stating in an email, Chief Taffy's on-camera responses speak for themselves. Meantime, for the next 3 years, Chichester still has to come up with $250 a month to pay off those fees.
It's not fair.
That place don't care for the people like it used to. It don't care for the people like it used to.
You shouldn't be doing that.
Okay, so after a lot of back and forth tonight, we finally have answers. The MTA says that $50 charge per toll is in fact a one-time fee. Now, if you don't pay it, the MTA can ask the DMV to suspend your registration, which would make it illegal to drive your car. Of course, there's still so much.
So the MTA has the power to suspend your license. This is crazy.
Much that we don't know about these staggering fees and the MTA's policy on discounts. That's why I'm asking New Yorkers to reach out to me and to share their experience, not just about the MTA, but all the tolling authorities. We're trying to get clarity here.
My mind is like blown by this story, Masa, because there just doesn't seem like there's a system in place, you know, that has like real guidelines into who's going to get a deal and how much exactly, you know, you're going to get penalized if you miss a bill. So the MTA is basically saying that after 60 days, these huge fees kick in. How do they notify you?
So they say that they notify people, but a lot of lawyers that we're talking with that deal with these clients say there's so many people who claim that they never get the notice until it's too late. So that's another thing that we will be looking into, and wait till you hear some of the other stories coming up. So,
okay, Masa, like I said, mind-boggling.
Unbelievable, y'all. Unbelievable. I'm trying to find the video. I don't know what's going on that I can't find the video. I'm trying to find the video, y'all. Give me a second. I was watching a video and I do not see the video that I need for us to talk about. Okay, I got it. All right, I got it now. Make sure you double tap the like button on your way in. It ain't easy. It's a guy's channel. Listen to what this woman has to say.
Man, or you know a black man, stop scrolling because I have a really, really important question. So y'all have probably seen there's a big influx in like community groups. There's kickball clubs and running clubs, and I just started a pickleball club. Volume Vibe, pull up. But anyway, there's all these clubs around like building community. But I notice every time I pull up, for the most part, it's like 70% women or more. And so my question for the men, and if you're a woman, you can forward this to a man so he can answer this for me. Why is this happening? Are y'all?
She's from New York City, or from New Jersey or Pennsylvania, one of the three. The men ain't checking for the ladies up there for the most part. They got too much going on for them to spend time with you. They do believe that it's not worth the squeeze to go talk with y'all if you're not interested in what they got going on. Anyway, let's continue.
Calling y'all like no new friends era? Are we shy? Like what's going on?
I think there's a couple of reasons, a couple of really good reasons, a couple of silly reasons. One of the good reasons is I don't think men are plugged into a lot of these social groups, and when that information is disseminated, like we hear about it second, third, maybe fourth hand, and by then it's probably a week after the event. I've heard about a couple events that I thought, oh, that might be kind of nice to do, but again, it was almost like a month, So now the thought process is, okay, let me look at this, see if I can catch the next one. But on the other hand, I think this is an effect of the pendulum being swung so far the other way, where we were told that you didn't want our attention. You wanted us.
A lot of them didn't want your attention. Now they want your attention at this particular time, and you don't even want to give them a time of day. Some of you guys have made it clear, I'm not interested in being in a relationship with a woman because it is not my time to look into that. I got other stuff going on, and I don't want her to be in the way of what I got going on. So these ladies got a rude awakening call because a lot of men ain't going back to the table with you. Now you want to go to the table with them after so many years. Then I tell you guys, when a woman dealt with a specific man, it takes a long time for her to have that man out of her. So times that by 5 or 10. Let's continue.
To leave you guys alone when you went out. You were saying that when you went out just to have fun with your girls. So there's a slew of men that absolutely listen to that. The good men that were never really problematic for you, they listened to that, they took that, and that they passed that message along. So now we get it, leave you alone. Now we want to correct that problem, right? Now you want to correct it. Now you want to create these groups, create these events, the speed dating, the dating events, the run clubs. But it took a while from the initial message of leave us alone to hit. It took years before that was sort of, subsumed by the larger society and said, okay, this is now the standard. It's going to take a large amount of time for it to swing back. So you're trying to fix the problem, but wanting immediate results. It took you 5 years to get fat. It's not going to take you 5 days to lose the weight. That's how I see part of this issue, right? We want to fix what was essentially took maybe the better part of 15 years to get us where we are. It's
That's
not
a
a
long
quick thing
time.
to turn around and just say, okay, here we go. We're just going to go back. Hey,
it took a long time to realize what they're missing out on. And the men are continuing to move forward for the most part. They're not looking back. When you had your chance, you wasn't ready. The guy was ready. So why would you want to come back in his message board and try to get his attention when you wasn't ready. Let's continue.
We created these spaces, men, why aren't you showing up? By and large, you told us not to. And furthermore, we all have a social media, right? We see how many guys get played on social media that go to these events, and you know, I don't want to be someone's story time, right? That's what someone wrote in the comments. We absolutely get it. You know, story.
A lot of these ladies be doing that. They have a lot of stories to tell about a guy, or it's an imaginary situation. Either way, they're not getting no results. The men is catching on to what these ladies is up to. They're not falling for the okie doke. The tricks is not working. The spells is not working. It's not working. The men are waking up and getting out of these spells.
Tell me how I met this guy at the speed dating event and how we went left, right? Yeah, we don't want to be part of that. Hey, the guys that do show up, those aren't the guys that you're really interested in, right? Like we've seen those same stories. Or there's a larger group event and there's a guy, there's guys there, say, and then we'll keep it, race specific. There's a black man there and he's interested in white women. And then you don't know this off rip, but when you go to him, then you have issue that he's not paying you attention. Now it's a story time. So men are looking at this and by and large, really focused on going to work, finding what little time they have for their little hobbies. Maybe they can create some time to go out with their friends now and again. Yeah, maybe, you have time, you'll go out to, in a club or a bar or something to see if you can meet someone, or you on the apps. Men aren't really plugged in like we used to be, or it's not as easy as it used to be to go out and say, okay, I'm going out for the express purpose of meeting someone and having a good time. So again, I think it's a pendulum swinging back and forth. Then there is just that swath of men to say, yeah, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. There's some that were lost along this entire process of going from, say the Me Too movement to now we're saying, hey, men are dangerous, men are the predators, hearing this again and again and again, and it's seeming to be inundated, right? We have to give people the credence and grace to understand that we're all humans and we're all affected by things in varying degrees and varying times. So when you constantly are fed, you're no good simply because you're a man, or you're the number one predator to women, or you're saying 1 in 4 women on campuses have been SA'd. Men hear that, and the ones that don't want any part of that simply just retreat. They just retreat and say,
they don't want to take the risk to deal with somebody that's been through some things because they believe it's going to turn on them. They're going to snap on them. They may have a crash out. So they're not willing to take the risk. So that's pretty much about it, y'all. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning into the show. Shout out to everybody viewing, the mods, the members, the chat room. We'll talk about this in the part 2. We'll get into the Destiny Swap again in the near future. So there you have it. Make sure you like the video on your way out. Shout out to those who continue to support the work, whether it's Venmo, Cash App, Super Chat, Super Thanks, Super Sticker. Looking forward to seeing what you got to say in the comment section. And shout out to those who recently subscribed to the channel.